Okay, great. So I'll quickly go directly into the questions that Floor introduced. So the best experience for me had to be movie night. This was the first time I organized an event online. This was the first time I was using Zoom. This was the first time that something was happening after COVID, and we were though I had attended a meeting already online, but this was very new experience for me. And the format was so interactive. It was like about 100 people are going to watch movies online, and we also planned interactive discussion among different people. So this was very interesting format, interesting uh, participation. Almost about 80%, 80 plus people participated from all over the world. Like how it happened in the poll before, that we see majority of people were from Europe. So this was also the case for this meeting. But the surprising thing was that there were people from all over the continents. It was very diverse. A lot of people enjoyed it. And we also tried to keep it very informal and light. We invited people that they can have dinner and drinks together. They can invite friends and family to and watch the movie together. And also, this is a funny exercise that we did. We asked everybody to come back with a silly hat or an outfit or a mask, and we can have some fun associated with it. So this is my best experience, and I would go next. Yeah. So this would the story of my worst experience would be has to do with language. So yeah, I think I face this both as a participant and as a facilitator. Sometimes there is a language barrier, and it's difficult to understand what the other person is saying, and sometimes more focus goes on what the person is saying. What the person is saying instead of what they are talking about. So the attention goes away from the content. So this has happened with me for a couple of events. And I think this is not just relevant for global audience, or it's also very, very relevant in European context. And because English is like second language to mostly everybody and in Europe. And then a lot of people have mentioned this thing. So my own experience has not been very good in terms of that. But luckily, like has started providing options of translation and transcription. So that is something very awesome, but it still has a condition, you have to subscribe to a really higher option. But I see that some progress is being made in that direction. Yeah, my tip would be to allow participants to engage before, during, and after the meeting. I know Floor already mentioned about this thing, but this is also before. Oh, I think I missed a slide. Oh, I see it's gone somewhere, but I'll go on anyway. I would like to share some specific examples how we can engage participants before, during, and after the meeting. In case of before the meeting, we, for example, for one of the movie nights, we created a voting for participants to choose between two different movies. Oh, is it? Oh, well, I don't know, something happened. It switched up. So yeah, we opened a poll, and people could vote for the which movie they wanted to watch. So we ultimately majority people voted for Tomorrow. It was a very close tie, but it was so interesting because almost 50 to 60 people voted. And so this was for the first time we engaged people before the event, and it was very interesting. And this is besides the social media interaction. This was another interactive format. And during the meeting, sometimes you have like very large groups, so it becomes difficult to have more of a two-way communication. So in that case, we started working towards smaller group discussions. And at this platform with Vital Cities and Citizens, we prefer World Cafe style. And then we transitioned how to do that in Zoom. And in this meeting, we don't have that, but if you have attended some meetings before, you would know how we organize multiple round of discussions within Zoom breakout groups. And it has worked really well because a lot of people get the opportunity to talk and not just listen and have one-way communication. And also after the event, we try to engage participants in various ways. For example, we always try to have feedback from people, and also kind of incorporate have like small incremental changes. So it's not that we completely change the format that we have, because we after a very long time we have created templates, but through the feedback we see, what's changing, where are the places where we can change and do better. And then there are incremental changes that we incorporate after every event. So this is again a two-way communication that we do with participants. And other way would be to engage even after the event. For example, we have a mailing list which is on the theme of just sustainability transition. So we also invite participants to subscribe to the mailing list. And again, this mailing list is also two-way communication. It's not that we as organizers would just send out an email and people will receive it, but even people who are in this list, they can also kind of share what they want. If it can be a publication, it can be an interesting article that they came across. So this is very nice. And I would like to also mention a specific outcome of this kind of engagement. So we did a webinar which was based at Erasmus University. We opened it up. It was on the topic of social enterprise. And the good thing that came out of that webinar is that the people from Erasmus University, they self-organized and they created a group which continues to meet every 1 or 2 months, in every 1 or 2 months. So they continued the engagement even after the event. So, there are a lot of surprises, a lot of things can happen. And so it would be really, I mean, I invite everybody to, just explore what you can do even after the meeting. My second tip would be to plan ahead. Now, this is, I think this is a very obvious thing to say, but we really take this very seriously because as you can see at the right hand side, there is a detailed script. So we always make sure that we write everything what we are going to do. And this includes a technical check-in with the hosting team, the people who are organizing it, and also with the speakers. So nothing, there are no surprises, no end-minute disasters. And yeah, so this is also for, as Flor mentioned before already with an example, also to check if some participants are not are being rude or something is going off. So we already try to plan ahead for these kind of things. My third tip would be to visualize and share in various formats. Now, Flor already touched a bit upon this, and I would like to share examples of how we do it in our thematic group. So we have had 3 events so far before this one, and a visual harvester has been taking notes live. Now you can see that this is very content heavy, very dense, and there is a lot of information. This is culmination of the whole webinar. But we also try to reuse and recycle the elements from these such kind of visualization. For example, we would definitely share the entire graphic, but we also cut it down as per every speaker's discussion. So in this way, it's very helpful because if you share it on social media, or you share it in on Instagram or any other kind of space, then it's very difficult and very fleeting. With so much information, I think a lot of people would be like, yeah, maybe I'll see it later, and that later never happens. So we always try to cut it down into information that you can just quickly see and you can grasp that information, and you don't have to invest a lot of time. So this is the second webinar that we did. It was about diversifying power with Jenny Stevens. And then this would be our last webinar, which was about urban environment justice and green gentrification. And we had 2 speakers in this event. Now, another thing would be also to reuse and recycle this material as much as possible. I mean, the event does not have to be, has to be one-off. It doesn't have to be rooted just in this time and moment, but we can also continue taking the output of the event later on. For example, Flor already mentioned that we are trying to create a guide around this topic, and we wanted to use this opportunity of this webinar to also gather information or allow participants to share their own input. So we at VCC, we try to share this information in many different ways. For example, we, after every event, we write a blog, or which is sort of a post-event reporting, and also giving what are the main highlights that were discussed by the speakers and what happened in the plenary. And if, as you can see, we also share small snippets, small videos of what the speaker was saying. So it's not like a one very big 1 hour video. Rather, it is like a small 10-minute video, and it's easy for people to just, if they are interested in just one topic, they can just go through that video. So we also have a YouTube playlist, which is by Vital Cities and Citizens, and we upload all our videos in that platform. Then we also reuse this information, and we put it on Twitter and we put it on Instagram, and there are different formats, and you can, follow them. You can see how we keep recycling them. And, it's also, for example, we had a summer throwback uh, where we reshared all the speaker highlights once again during the summertime. Yeah, and then this would be the final, not like a culmination of all different tips. That's to be fully present. And by that, I do not mean just for the participants, but also for the speakers to be fully present, and to kind of, and also for the virtual host to customize the whole experience of the meeting. Because sometimes a lot of information is being repeated, but if we kind of customize based on what other speakers are saying, what's happening in the plenary, and all of this makes the event really truly unique. So this would be the last and final tip. And then I would go to the potentials of this kind of online meetings, and that would be to enhance collaborations. I think we still see a gray area where we think that most people, at least in these kind of meetings where we open it for all, it's mostly European people are participants. But I think it has a lot of potential to connect across the globe and also include people from Global South. I think the examples that Flo shared earlier, those are very good example of translocal networking. But I think we at VCC still have to see how to enhance that collaboration. And in the future events, we want a speaker from, we would like to invite a speaker from Global South to do an event with us. And this is something we plan to do in future. And this brings me to my dilemma to see who is participating. I mean, the question is not just how to increase the participants, which are truly global, and but also how to make it equitable. I mean, we know that in many places, I'm from India, and at least in India, I see there is a digital divide. Not everybody has access to internet or have enough resources. So who are we including in these events? That's also an important question. So that we do not end up reproducing exclusion and inequality. So yeah, so these are my answer to my 5 questions. And I would now pass on to Lucia. Yes, thank you.